Hey there again, people of YouTube, Dragon Pro 3 here. I just got home and, I wanted to go ahead and get this done. This movie review is going to be Grave Encounters. So, like I said in the other video, this is how it's going to happen. Tell you what it is, synopsis, and then go ahead, give them pros and cons, star rating, then random fedora. But today, no random fedora, because I already know what I'm doing next week, and I'll go ahead and explain why again. If there is a movie that has a sequel, I need to go ahead and cover those sequels if there's multiple, like the Saw franchise. If I end up picking out Saw from the random fedora, I will be covering the entirety of all the Saw movies. That's just that way it's all streamlined and it works out fine. But for today, I will be giving you a synopsis of Grave Encounters. You can find it on Netflix on Instant Stream. That's how I ended up watching it. You can also probably end up getting it on demand or anywhere really online. I ended up watching it on Netflix, so it's just easier and cheaper. But the synopsis on Netflix reads, "In this horror flick, the stars of a paranormal investigation TV show spend the night in a derelict psychiatric hospital, hoping to uncover what has been going bump in the night. As their cameras roll, they find themselves trapped and hunted." Now, it's not like Paranormal Activity, as you could hear. Paranormal Activity is completely different, and I will cover that later if it comes out of the hat. Anyway, this movie, for what it was pretty decent. But I will get into my own comments as we progress. Starts out to where the team ends up learning more, doing research about the place. And when they are first locked in, because they go ahead and they have, I think his name was Kenny, Kenny the caretaker, locking them in with thick chains, locking the front doors with padlocks and everything. When they get locked in there is no escape. There are bars on the windows. The only ones that don't have bars are a sheer 80 feet drop from the floor. So, obviously, if you tried to get through one of those, you'd probably end up, at the very least, breaking something, if not killing yourself. So, so that happens, and so they go ahead, and the cameras start rolling, and Sasha, the main characters, Lance Preston, Sasha, I honestly don't remember a lot of their last names, Sasha, TC, Matt, and their psychic, Houston. Turns out that the psychic is fake. They end up, they're good friends with Houston, and they just fake everything. But anyway, they go ahead and they lock themselves in, and they're investigating, and Sasha, I believe, ends up getting her hair touched. And so she starts freaking out, and so she gets taken back downstairs, and Lance and TC keep going as Houston is taking Sasha downstairs. And something else happens. I believe TC ends up getting slammed into a room really quick, like the door slams shut behind him, but he catches it on camera, so they start filming it like, oh my gosh, because nothing has ever happened to them before in the 5 episodes that they've been going. This was their 6th, and obviously their last. So they went ahead and they started filming everything, and things started getting really funny. Like, while they were sleeping, the floodlight that was in the lobby where they had their headquarters ends up falling over, and they're out of lights. That's all they got, other than really humongous looking flashlights and the lights on their cameras. That's all they had left. Turns out that the food goes bad, so all they have left is bottled waters. So TC starts freaking out because things actually started happening. Nothing has ever happened to them like this before. And then it turns out that Sasha wakes up with "hello" carved into her back. And Houston ends up bumping it, like, I think twice in the movie. Yeah, so then TC starts really freaking out because he just wants to go home. He's tired. He doesn't want to have to deal with any of it. And it turns out that they can't get the door open. So while Lance and TC end up working on trying to get the door open, Matt's like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm going to go get our gear. That way As soon as you guys get that open, we can go. We can just run, okay? Because this is just way too crazy shit going on. So Matt goes away, and everybody can pretty much guess what that meant. And after about, I think it's like 10 minutes lapsing in the movie of not hearing about him, they start wondering, oh, where's Matt? He's taking forever. And so they go looking for him. And they're like, hey, Matt, where are you? And they start freaking out and everything. And, I believe that they end up coming across the girl from the trailer. She's in a hospital gown. And, so they go ahead and, go to approach her, and she turns around, gives them the CGI scary face. And so they go ahead and run, and they're running into this closet because there are freaky noises going on all around them. And, hands coming out of these little windows and trying to grab at Sasha and her hair. And so they hide in this little closet, but along the way, they lost Houston. I don't know how the hell you lose 3 other people while running, and you're alone in a hallway. I don't know how you do that, but I guess it wouldn't be a movie. So Houston's out wandering the halls. He gets killed off. I believe he gets thrown across a hallway and hits his head on the ceiling, and I think that ends up cracking his neck, or breaking it, rather, and it ends up killing him, because as soon as that happens and he lands, he doesn't move, so bye, Houston. So that happens, and then they're in this little closet, and they go to sleep for a while, because they were hiding in that closet for a few hours, and it turns out that they all woke up, and I'm going to go ahead and warn you now, spoilers. So if I'm selling you on this, stop the video now and go watch. I'm giving you a chance to pause here, so I'll give you a good 5 seconds. Okay. So basically they wake up and they have patient wristbands on their wrists. And it has their names, date of birth, everything. It has all their information on it. And so they really start freaking out. So it's like, okay, we definitely need to find a way out of here. So they go just trekking through this maze-like hospital. And they go up this fire exit, which ends up connecting to the roof. So they go to the roof in order to get to the fire exit, but it turns out that the roof is blocked off by a wall. So TC starts having a little meltdown, and then they start walking around again. And the 3 of them end up coming across Matt again, but he's in a hospital gown also. So he's spewing out crazy things like saying, the doctor will make you feel better too. Because the doctor there, I don't remember his name. I think it's like Friedman or something. It's not Friedman. No, Half-Life here. It's like Friedmich or something like that. He was a doctor here that ended up doing lobotomies. And he did like 140, I think. And, but it turns out that some of his patients ended up killing him. But, so he's talking crazy nonsense and everything like that, and Lance is just freaking out. So they start moving around, and they go back to the bathroom, where a girl supposedly cut her wrists in this bathtub and died. And it turns out that Matt is standing right over it, just staring down into it. TC goes to check him out, after giving the camera back to Lance, and this thing comes out of the blood that's in the tub, and grabs TC, drags him in. Lance drops the camera to go help him, but the tub falls over, and it ends up splashing a little bit on the camera, and TC's gone. They don't know where the hell he went. So it's just Sasha, Lance, and Matt left, but Matt's gone. He's mentally not there anymore. He's not even... So, as Sasha, Lance, and Matt are walking down the hallway, the CGI guy, he must have been a patient or something, but he practically moves just like a CGI guy. His face is all messed up. He kind of looks like the little girl from Paranormal Activity 3, I think. But he attacks them, but Lance and Sasha put him in a room, and he starts fighting against the door, and so they're holding it, leaving Matt with the camera, and he finds an elevator shaft to his right, and he looks down, and he just laughs over at Sasha and Lance, and then he just falls straight down to his death. So the CGI guy goes away, and they're like, what the hell? And all of a sudden they find out Matt's gone. They go to find him. He's dead down at the bottom of the shaft. And so they take that and they go down into the tunnels using that elevator shaft, going down into the tunnels, the service tunnels, and they end up, the tunnels end up connecting the buildings of the mental hospital together. So they're thinking, okay, well, if we go through the tunnels, find another door to a different building, we can get out. Well, Sasha starts throwing up blood from having a fever and getting sick, so they stop in the middle of the tunnel. They go ahead and relax a little bit. This, I swear it's the smoke monster from Lost. Covers up the camera, and then it goes away. Sasha's gone. Lance starts freaking out, goes bolting down the hallway as far as he can before his light goes out. And he stops, turns off the camera for a bit, comes back, saying, hey, I found the door that leads to a different building. Goes through it. He finds medical journals. He finds this little ritual thing, and it looks to be a Norse journal of some sort. And then he hears something behind him, and he notices a surgical table. And it has a patient on there. There's a doctor standing over him by his head, 2 nurses, and he's like, the hell? How are you here? All of a sudden, this other nurse comes out of nowhere, gives him a freaky CGI face. He drops the camera, and it goes black for a minute. It comes back, and his eyes are all wonky. One's kind of crossed, and the other one is kind of shaky and bobby. So we're guessing he had a lobotomy. He's like, the doctor made me all better. He says I can go home. For Grave Encounters, this is Lance Preston. And then it goes ahead and it cuts out, and that's how it ends. So I'm like, the hell? What's... Anyway. For what it was, I found it to be rather enjoyable. I kind of liked Paranormal Activity, so, I figured I'd like this one too. I went ahead and I have to give it like a 3.5. I would have given it a 4 had it scared me more, but some of the scares were kind of painfully obvious, like you knew they were going to happen. So I didn't find them all that intimidating. But for what it was good. The pacing was very well done. Character development worked very well. The atmosphere, great. Very realistic. You cared for the characters. They weren't just like from characters from a slasher movie when you knew they were going to die. And the dialogue, it was forced at times, but for what it was decent. I would kind of recommend watching it if you're a fan of paranormal, and if you like scary movies. It's pretty decent, especially at night. It has its moments. And yeah, I would go ahead and do the random Fedora, but seeing as how the next one, since it has a sequel, I'll be doing Grave Encounters 2 for next time. I'm going to try to get around to watching the movie. Probably, I'm hoping tonight, and then maybe recording it if it's not too late. But, no promises. But, that's pretty much it. There's not much more else to it. I mean, it's worth a watch, and the scares are so much better set up than the first Paranormal Activity, but I'll talk about them later. If I pick them from the hat, I will talk about them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, add it to your favorites, share with your friends, subscribe please, and I guess I will see you guys next time. So, see you guys next time for Grave Encounters 2. Have a great one. This is Dragon Pro 3 signing off.